Okay, guys, I should be live. Hi, and welcome to this stream of Black Panther live review. Just let me tune in and see if I'm streaming, and we can continue. This is the first time that I'm ever doing this. I'm just gonna put my headphones. Okay, guys, I should be live. Okay, so I am streaming. I'm gonna watch the chat in the meantime, of course, as always. Guys, what to tell ya about this movie? I went to see it with one of my most favorite people in the whole world, and we all did not really like this movie. But before you freak out, let's start with the good things. So, the good things, I think, are, well, it's kind of hard to tell really. But let's say Black Panther's costume, Chadwick Boseman overall, but I have something to say about Black Panther in general, but the way that he played, Black Panther, for what he was given as a character, as a material, he did the best that he could, and the accent, he nailed that down, very much so. And most of the actors pretty much, did a very good job. But what to tell you guys? I mean, oh god. Okay, so a lot of people, love this movie, and I'm sure that whoever saw it, I mean, most people really love it. But, I'm not new to Marvel movies at all, and I was kind of shocked, when I saw this movie. Because, guys, oh gosh, okay, I'm trying to say this without making, somebody triggered, you can say. So, just a second, by the way, just a second. Just a second. Stay here. I'm here. Sorry about that. Life, stuff that happens live. So first, the world building was very interesting, but it was too much shoved in. It was on the nose. The music was, too much used, like all the time. And it was kind of nice at one point, but then it got like super annoying. There was things and ways to do certain things in movies, like let's say Avatar. I know that some people don't like really Avatar, but for me the world building there is top notch, and the way that they presented. Sorry, I'm gonna make a lot of errors, when I speak, because first I never done this before, a live review, and I cannot edit this, but I wanted to bring you my thoughts on it because I couldn't yesterday when I actually saw it. So I wanted to do it now, and by the time I edit this, you're gonna wait at least 2 more days. I'm as busy. So I'm just imagining the bad comments right now, but I gotta be honest, as always. So my point is that the way that the world building was done in Avatar, and how the characters were presented, how the Navi were presented, for me it was great. I got the feeling of them and how they are, how they operate, their traditions, and it wasn't annoying, it wasn't on the nose, but the way that they did it here, it was so freaking, serious that it came out as cheesy. It came out as something completely and super annoying by the time that the movie ended. And throughout the movie, I was having one of those moments, when you watch a movie and you just want to throw yourself out of a cliff or something because you cannot believe the cheesiness in this. When they're so freaking serious and it's presented in such a way that it's so into your face, it's just not, you can say, believable, relatable anymore. And some people, really take this movie so freaking seriously in America, and I'm not in America, so it's totally different for me. But there really are some SJW moments in this movie. There are, like, the main villain Killmonger. He was saying things that just didn't make any sense uh, to me and to what I know about the world, that we live in, and especially in America where everything's so free, you can say. And he was able to grow up, although he was abandoned. He was able to develop all those skills. He was able to do whatever he would like to do and to develop himself exactly in the way that he wanted to. So he wasn't oppressed in any kind of a way. He did it. He reached, Wakanda, although how exactly he got there, it's kind of a mystery to me. It's supposed to be this very hidden place, but he just, walked in, basically. But I want to keep that for like a spoiler section of this review, so I'm gonna keep it just a non-spoiler and anything like that. But if you've seen the trailers, you know that he was there. Uh, yeah, Marto, thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna watch out for those spoilers. Yeah, so for now, no spoilers, don't worry. But I'm saying things that, there were already in the trailer. You saw that he is there, in Wakanda. So, guys, uh, let's think about this. The Black Panther himself, I have to say that I like his costume. I mean, his new costume and the technology behind it, and the technology behind Wakanda and his sister. She was very good in all of this. But Black Panther himself, he was kind of bland and at points. I mean, I got more of an idea who is his sister than of him. And then I have to talk about some spoilers, but I'm not going to. But let's say that when he fought, and again, you can see that into the trailer. In the trailer, he's not as good of a warrior that you would think that he is. So he basically, throughout the movie, to me, he came out kind of as a weak leader and a weak guy, and you never get really a great idea of who he really is, because he is so like monotone. He's not really expressing his personality that well, you can say, or at least that is how it came across to me and to my two people that I was with. They were completely bored, basically. I wasn't bored by the movie per se. I was just extremely like in hysterical or something like that inside when the movie ended, because I couldn't believe what I have seen. There was so much, because of so much cheesiness, the level of cheesiness to the whole thing, the cliches, the way that everything was done, so so predictable, basically. Like one or two things I wouldn't actually think about, but it was just because I didn't really care about the whole story. I mean, the movie didn't make me care, didn't immerse me into it. Another thing that I could mention is the chemistry between Black Panther and his girlfriend, and that was basically not existent at all. Like nothing like a chemistry. I mean, when I watched 50 Shades, oh, sorry about that. When I watched 50 Shades, I was like, just to stop this so you won't have to hear it. Okay. So when I watch 50 Shades, and usually 50 Shades is a movie that we all know that there's not really a lot of chemistry between, the two actors. But I can say that what I saw from the chemistry of Black Panther and this girl, it was a lot worse. Like a lot worse. If I didn't know, they didn't say anything, I would say that they're just like brother and sister or friends or something like that. Throughout like 90% of the movie, you can say. And mm, the action scenes were nice for what they were, but this was pretty much a smaller scale movie. because there was not really like something huge and big. For what it was, for what we saw, it was very interesting and cool to see, but there was a lot of shaky cam, which I think nobody mentioned in the reviews that at least I watched. There was a lot of things that you just couldn't make out what the heck was happening on the screen. Everything was like, you know. Especially the first fight scene, when Black Panther attacks in the forest, and again you can see that in the trailer. It's only like flashes from the bullets, but like nothing else. You can't really see how he fights those guys. And there's a casino scene later on, a fight, and again there's like shaky cam and things that you don't really see what he's actually doing. And the end fight, there are like two end fights, you can say, again, no spoilers. It's just like full CGI, and you can tell that it's CGI. And I know that this movie is very old now, the old Spider-Man movies, but I remember when I saw Spider-Man movies, the Sam Raimi ones, and how he moved throughout the city. Although it was super old movie and movies by now, it was very believable to me. This looked as less believable, maybe because my eye, is trained by now to see those things, but it really looked freaking CGI. Like, in not one moment, I was like, yeah, those are the two actors fighting. Sometimes, of course, they were, but sometimes it was, just freaking CGI. And I just wish it wasn't that obvious because it was super obvious. So there's so many special effects that are amazingly obvious to the point where you're like, okay, this is animation. It kind of takes you out of the movie. So very good special effects are very important, but I kind of think that they did miss the mark here, especially when you see Black Panther without his mask, because his new costume can actually remove the mask at will. And he did that all the time. And as somebody that is a superhero fan, I really don't like to see the hero without his mask, because the hero is what he is with the full costume. It's the same thing with Captain America, although it's kind of different because he looks, you kind of assimilate him as the character when he wears the helmet, you can say, and where he's not wearing it. But for most superheroes that wear something on their faces, it's very freaking important for that mask, to be there, because it kind of breaks the idea and the visuals and how you see the character even. So he did that all the time, and he also made himself vulnerable in that moment as well. So that was not something I appreciate. Like, on and off of the mask. There was like a moment, again, I cannot say what it is because of the non-spoilers still, that was because of a certain something else, but the other moments he just removed it on will all the time. So that sucked. And about the special effects, when he walked somewhere, and when the other guy, Killmonger, when he walked and they both removed their masks, you can freaking see that their bodies are CGI, which is ridiculous to me. Like, why didn't you just, made them wear the costume? But it looked like so ridiculous, like they're walking and the head is just not compatible with all of this. Oh god, it was so obvious. So I don't expect such quality or the lack thereof in a movie like this. It's freaking obvious. Okay. Other than that, oh, so welcome to Afif Chateau. You agree about the effects? Okay. I'm just really worried, guys, because I promised you from the very beginning, for those of you that watch me for a while now, that I'm gonna bring you my honest opinion, like super honest, and have in mind that since I'm not from America, I don't live in America, I'm not at all affected by, the politics and everything that goes in there, so I'm just watching this like a viewer that watches the movie, that knows enough about today's times. So from that perspective, that is not affected in any way by the America stuff. I can really tell you that what brings this movie down for me again is just the way that that culture was too much out there, too much on the nose. It was not very naturally presented to us as viewers. It was more like forced on us, like we are, bang with all of this culture in a way that is just too much. I mean, I don't know how to explain, but again, I gave in the beginning a very, I think, very good example with Avatar and how things were done there in terms of the culture. And at least for me, I mean, this is all a matter of opinion. But again, it wasn't only me, it was, the people that I was with, and actually most, if not all, of the theater that I was watching the movie with, they were all like super annoyed leaving the theater. They didn't want to, stay for the end credits at all. I was only staying because I have to make a review of the movie, and I am recently very disappointed with how Marvel is showing. I mean, what Marvel are showing at the end credits is something that is freaking not that important. It's so small. They give you, you know, just like breadcrumbs or something. It's so freaking small that it makes all the waiting not worthwhile at all, at all. So it wasn't only me that reacted this way. Um, oh, I'm just gonna read your comments, guys. Okay. Mm, don't get the okay. I understand, guys. Yeah. Again, yeah, I feel the same way. It's just meh a movie for me. But if you saw, I don't know how to admit this, but if you saw how I reacted yesterday when I left the theater, when we were the only three people waiting to see what will happen. The theater itself turned on the lights. Nobody cared. The other people that supposed to clean the theater, they started cleaning. The only three people that waited, and my boyfriend and my girlfriend, they wanted to leave, but I was like, guys, I have to make a review, so please stay, something like that. So we stayed, and at the second end credit, that again, this is still the non-spoiler part, of the stream and the review. When they show the second, I was like, and what? And what now? And what are you going to show me? I was in this hysterical mood. I was so freaking out of myself. I was besides myself basically. So since there was nobody there, I just went, walked in front of the screen before all the seats started, and I was watching like this basically, and I was like, uh-huh, uh-huh, and that's it, really, really, something like that. So it was bad, guys. um yeah, Marto, like I said, it was two. Well, most times there was two scenes, but first it's kind of close to the end credits, after the movie ends, and then you have to wait the whole credits to see the last scene, which is like a minute tops, like tops. uh like, keep it no spoilers in the comments, guys, because Marto, for instance, he haven't seen the movie. Hi to Captain Carl. Okay, you said it all. Okay, Marto, don't read that. I mean, it's not a big deal. It's really nothing that will change your experience or opinion about the movie, the last two scenes. Like, nothing. So, I don't think it's like a big spoiler. It's kind of something that you would expect. So yeah, nothing major, nothing connected really with the other movies except, Winter Soldier, just a little bit because of the Winter Soldier. So, nothing special. So a lot of people also brought up the point again, the people from America, brought up the point that if this movie was done the way it was done with white people, this is going to be totally different reaction and all of that. Wakanda is isolated from everybody and they want to keep everything to themselves. And I don't really want to get into those things. Uh, I don't really, but the only thing that I don't want to say really 10 times, but what bothered me was Killmonger and how he, viewed the world. I get that he's the villain, but to I'm gonna get into spoilers now. Okay, so I'm gonna try to finish everything that contains non-spoilers, and then I'm gonna talk spoilers. So for now, non-spoilers. Uh, so basically, guys, I covered special effects, the world building was visually okay for the most part, except the other special effects that were not okay. The most badass character in the whole movie was the general of T'Challa. She was freaking amazing. She didn't give a flying, you know what. She was a real badass. So I would like to see her being the Black Panther, not because she's a woman, at all, just because of her character, how strong she was. I think she has a lot of potential as a character in general. And T'Challa, on the other hand, as a contrast, he was very weak uh, to me, as a guy, even as a man, as a warrior. Yeah. Okay, I'm just watching your comments. If you wrote something new, so yeah. Okay, let's think about something else that is not a spoiler. Uh, well, I did say most about most characters. I didn't really care about Bilbo Baggins. I just forgot his name right now. He's an agent in the movie. I also didn't really care about the other bad guy from the previous movies. He was disgusting, but he's a bad guy. He did a good job, a decent job, but just, didn't really care about him and his part of this. And from the score of 1 to 10, before I wrap this up, I would say that Black Panther is a Marvel movie. I would say for me, in my opinion, because the movies that I didn't enjoy at all from Marvel was pretty much Iron Man 3, Thor Ragnarok, just fell flat, and now Black Panther. Ant-Man was fine. And especially I really liked oh gosh, there's so many movies now. Damn it. I can't believe I forgot his name. The Wizard. The Wizard, damn it. You guys know who he is. I mean, I love that movie. I really liked it. So yeah, those three worst movies in the Marvel universe to me. So Black Panther, maybe the worst Marvel movie that I had less enjoyment out of till now. And after that, I'm gonna put maybe Iron Man 3, although I was really disappointed with that as well. Like, really. Andy Serkis, yeah. That's Gollum. Yeah, you're totally right. That's Gollum, yeah. Andy Serkis. Also Caesar from Planet of the Apes. Yeah. So, okay, I'm gonna give this movie like a 4 out of 10, which I really hope some of you don't freak or something, but like a 4 out of 10. Yeah. That's it. That is it. So guys, now some of the things that I want to talk about in the spoiler section. So Marto, I really enjoyed your company in the comments, but if you don't want to know anything, it's mostly like super annoying things about fight stuff and some of the story stuff. But if you don't want to know anything, just, you can click away. Okay, just let me drink this. Oh damn. The water just splashed me. But anyway, so spoilers. Spoilers. Oh, hi Ivy. Hi Ivy. I'm just starting the spoilers, so spoilers, and spoilers. You better not watch if you haven't seen the movie. Just, watch the stream before that, but not after that, before you see the movie. Again, I don't think that what I'm gonna say it's actually like a super spoiler, because there's not really anything real, like really good to spoil. There's not like super shock, maybe one thing about the villain, about his story, but that's it. Like, that is it pretty much. So yeah, there's nothing like super huge. But again, spoilers. So I'm starting this, Ivy and Marta. Okay, so Killmonger. Oh, you watched it? It's okay. So glad. So Killmonger, guys. Like I said, I don't want to get actually into the white SJW black things, but they did. I mean, when I watched the other reviews, and I want Ivy. I mean, I want Ivy to comment on this if he can, because I'm pretty sure he can confirm this as well, as a person that is very knowledgeable, and you don't actually need to be very knowledgeable on these things to comment, but yeah, it's like common knowledge, but So when I saw the other reviews, they said that no, this, the culture is not like shoved into your face. No, there's not like racial stuff that is just on the nose and shoved into your face. But yes, there is. Yes, there is, people. I mean, guys. Yes, there is. Yeah. Hi to Fabian. So yeah, spoilers again. There is. And what's there? So the Killmonger guy, he was like, I want to give weapons to everybody that are oppressed all around the world, everybody that look like us. Brothers and sisters, I killed brothers and sisters. Well, okay, other people matter too, no matter of the color of the skin, damn it, I don't want to get into this, but I have to say it. And I know he's a villain, but this was like done very freaking like SJW stuff, like straightforward, like um I want to give weapons to everybody that cannot protect themselves that are, oppressed. And he was speaking like everybody that is with his color of the skin are oppressed, which is totally not true. And again, the fact that he was even abandoned, and he was able to achieve what he achieved, to learn all of those skills, to go to Afghanistan, to fight, to basically exactly fulfill what he wanted, and nobody stopped him. He was free to do whatever he wanted. That is a testament that he was not oppressed at all. He was free to do whatever he wanted, because he is. And of course, there are some parts of the world that people are oppressed, and there's some terrible things, and this is happening to a lot of people, not only from one or the other race. This happened to my own people, like before, when we were under Turkish slavery. So we were literally under slavery, for 500 years, and nobody knows this because nobody cares about other countries' history. So for somebody that's not an American to see that, it's like, what are you talking about? There's freedom, there's laws that protects people against racism and all of that, but this movie came out so strong about things that are not really happening, and made Wakanda feel like, or it tried to hammer Wakanda into your head like it's a real place, it's real history, but it's not. It doesn't exist. So I don't know why people take it so freaking seriously, at least from the American side. People are free from like a lot of years now. And there's some assholes in every country and every nation, but that doesn't mean that everybody from a particular race are oppressed. Again, I don't want to get into that, but this movie went there, and it went like overboard on that. Okay, so now let's read what Ivy said. I agree with you 100%. The movie was based and filmed around racial issues and messages. The main messages of the movie was pretty much white people oppress black people even now. Yeah, yeah, I didn't want to say this, but it was exactly like that. And in the same time, Wakanda is a country that lives like isolated from everybody, and they don't want to help anybody. And when they see white person, like they saw Bilbo Baggins, they were like like treating him, of course, differently because he is different. He is not from there. I get that. um, but then we had that end credit scene with Winter Soldier, and they said something like "white, you white something." I forgot what it was. Not a white monkey, or it was something else. But it was it. If that was said from the opposite side, everybody will scream racism. Like everybody will scream racism. You know. So have that in mind. That did happen. Oh yeah, Ottoman slavery, but also uh, Barbary slavery, millions of Europeans were enslaved and millions of black too. Yeah, I mean, we were, white people that were enslaved for 500 years. I don't know how to tell ya. We were burned, we were cooked in huge vats, we were raped on a regular basis, we were made, to take their faith because we were Christians. We are now Christians again, but I mean, we were meant to do whatever they said. So it was one of the worst things that history has ever seen with our slavery. Um, but today we don't go to Turkish people and say, "Hey, Turkish people, you know you're still oppressing us." There's some issues inside the country, with Turkish people, let's say, and the fact that they're kind of integrated into the government, and that's a problem. But it's not like everybody are calling wolf, well, when there's not even, I mean, there's not slavery or anything like that. So yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just giving an example that what is happening to the outside world, that the people that are not Americans, what is happening in America to us, it's like super shocking, and we're like, what are you talking about? Okay, let's catch up with Ivy's comments. MIT, yeah, you're very freaking white. White, sorry, Ivy. Right, Ivy. Killmonger was MIT graduate Navy SEAL. How is that gonna happen if he is oppressed? He held the US, and yeah, he should hail the US and the West. And he talks of his home in Wakanda. Yeah, he never went there, he never was there. Yet he burned their tradition like they were nothing. Yeah, he didn't care about his own people, so he was so preachy. Like this whole movie is preachy, by the way, like super preachy. That was the word that I was looking for. So he was so preachy all the time about helping his brothers and sisters only because they share the same color of the skin. But apparently, other people that are not with the same color worth nothing to him, like nothing, which is super racism on its own. And he even killed his own people, his own people's traditions. And Ivy, I'm gonna actually read what you wrote, but we have to also remember what he said at the end when he was dying about, I want to die with my, like my ancestors, like threw my body in the water, the way that they threw themselves out of the ships because they knew that death is better than chains or something like that. And what are you talking about again? Because if he is from Wakanda, Wakandans, those people, those so advanced people, they were never slaves to anyone in the first place. His ancestors were the Black Panther people, the Wakanda nation. They were never slaves to anybody, to anybody. So what the heck? Except that first scene in the movie where they were kind of, I mean, there were some people were kidnapping women. Uh, I didn't get why is that. I think that was from outside countries, and they try to help them, although they don't intervene, but they help them. But they sure are not from Wakanda, because nobody enters there and nobody gets out of there, so they were not from Wakanda, according to the movie's logic. And like, correct me if I'm wrong, Ivy. You remember those things very well. Oh, wait, just to catch up. Colonizers, yeah. Oh, you know about that. Hmm. Yes, it didn't. Yeah, you're right. Hmm. So he says not only Ottoman slavery, but also Barbary slavery. Millions of Europeans were enslaved, and millions of black Jews. Okay, I read that. Oh, I know of the barbarianism, barbarism of Ottomans. Many people believe that that without the colon, the colonism, 19th century and not before, Africa would look like Wakanda. Facts are that it didn't. Of course, there's also the American Holocaust. Armenian, sorry, Armenian. Yeah. Okay. Also, I'm sorry I don't read, your language, but um, if you can tell me your name, I could pronounce that on stream. Also, Wakanda being so high tech, not making sense. Did vibranium make them so smart, and how they did they build so many buildings without outside help? Indeed, bury me in the ocean, it's like he's living for 200 years. And he forget that many black slaves died in the desert of North Africa by the Muslim slavers. Yeah, also I've heard that, some parts of Africa, black people also can enslave black people, so there's that too. So unfortunate, so many unfortunate things that humankind has done, no matter the race. We are all guilty. I mean, not we as individuals, but the people that done this represent people from all races. There's no like super innocent one race. There's just like no, there's not. There's not. So be objective. History. You can read the freaking history. Um, and about Wakanda being so high tech, so they did explain that that is it's not just the metal. It has power to it. It has special properties, so they sew it into their clothes, um, and with that they try to develop mm, an energy source from it somehow. They did not explain how these energy sources and blasts are produced. They did explain the kinetic energy that is coming from Black Panther's costume. So when somebody hits him, he can release that power, and that's cool. But yeah, I mean, only from a metal, the properties of that metal is not that explained. If you think about it, because yes, they have to synthesize it somehow, and with what? They would use another vibranium to do that. But then how they figured out everything else, I can't tell you. I mean, the movie couldn't tell you. You just assume that they're super very smart. And that's the other thing, that it's one more thing that is super hammered into our heads, how super smart they are. And again, the acting about all of that and in general just came out as very theatrical and very over the top, especially Black Panther's mother as well. The fact that everybody were so different. I mean, some of them were lighter, some of them were like super dark. That's okay. That's besides the point. I mean, it's just something that I'm mentioning. I'm not putting anything really on that, but I mean, it's not that important. I'm just saying it's stating it as a fact of the movie. Yes, Ivy says. Uh, yes, there was horrible things all over history. Only today we enjoy things like human rights and the idea of modern humanism. Sorry if I'm reading this as a kind of a Bulgarian word, but yeah, freaking agree with that. So everything that sometimes America should like look things from outside and see how things look to us, because what they're saying sometimes is just ridiculous. And when you have a movie like Black Panther, oh gosh, it's just so obvious. So basically, at the end of the movie, like I said, I wanted to just like scream from inside, like, what did I just watch? It was like naively presented as well. Maybe some kids will like it. I mean, will believe everything in this movie. And the other thing, there was a tribe that was, you know, like monkeys. Like, Black Panther's tribe, they're worshipping the panther, and the other was like the monkey, and they were screaming like a monkey. And then everybody are gonna be like, okay. I mean, like I said, it's one thing to present the culture, but this is fictional culture, it does not exist. And this was too much on the nose. So that's pretty much it, guys. Acting over the top lines, how they spoke, like the accent was too, too much. And it was ridiculous, even how Killmonger walked at times. First thing that I was thinking to myself when I saw him with his hairdo, how he was dressed as a 90s rapper, I was like, oh, is this like Coolio? Coolio from the 90s, or it's kind of ridiculous. I understand because he lived in those areas, but it was still like too much in your face on the nose. You had the same reaction. Like, when somebody tries to feed you something that's supposed to be delicious, but they're doing this, like, like eat it, like eat it, like eat it, like you know, uh, something like that. So it's not just me and my friends, my boyfriend and my girlfriend. It's not just us. Thankfully, I thought that it was just us that think things that way, and that saw this movie that way, because all the other reviews are like so praising this, like so praising it all the time. And for me, just not deserving this, saying like, wow, this is the first black movie, done in all of those ways. Okay, but have you forgotten that there was Blade, that movie Blade, like superhero movie with the black lead, Blade. Um, there was Spawn. Uh, there was even a movie with Shaquille O'Neal back in the 90s. There was other things. I mean, this is not the first time. Like the last 2 or 3 years, people are acting like, this is the first time that black people are getting recognition, which is ridiculous, like absurd. It's not true. And it's really cool that we have a movie like Black Panther, but they did go overboard. They didn't present it naturally, and the way that this is going to be presented naturally, it is not hammered into your head in the way that they did. Ivy says, oh yeah, Kulu, pretty much on that regard, I think it was somewhat making sense. The Killmonger will look more hood. Yeah. I said that, yeah. I agree with that, but just one of those things that just added up, to the whole feeling of too much and over the top and ridiculousness, of the movie. So, yeah. I wanted to finish my thought, but I just forgot what it was. But yeah, basically that's it, guys. Ada, I mean, sorry, that was Bulgarian coming out. So I wanted to say, like, example, we are not like a rich country again. We don't have a lot of black people, maybe 1 in every 1,000,000 or something. It's just like it is here. I mean, not a lot of black people just come here, to live. We are not super awesome for living. I mean, some people that made a lot of money in the other countries, and when they come here they have everything. It's a lot more cheaper. For us it's not, but for them it is, so it's awesome for them. So that's how a lot of people, I mean other people, like to come here, and we have beautiful nature and history and all of that. But for us it's not that awesome. But I mean, I have a family that is with mixed race kids here, with a black mom on my street, and nobody's going around and saying, "Oh, they're black" or something like that. Everybody like super accepting. Like nobody talks about that. I mean, it's human beings. It's like it's supposed to be. You don't talk about it like pointing it out all the time. It's just human beings, guys. And I had actually, when I was growing up, I had a black guy friend that I was going to a friend's house, and we all played together, and everything was fine, you know, and nobody was like, because these things, the more you pointing them out. Sorry, it's very late. I'm very tired for speaking for that long. The more that you do that, the worse it gets. Because we all have to remember that first and foremost, we are people, and we are all brothers and sisters in that regard. Our skin and race does not make us less or more, and does not make us, if somebody is white, he's my brother or sister, and if somebody is black, he's not. It's just we have to be one and not segregate us all the time. And movies like that obviously are making a very big like distinction in such a in your face way, it's not helping anything. It's just not. So that is, guys, I really didn't think that Marvel will do that. I would think that they are gonna be at least more objective towards this, and not gonna make and present this like it's freaking, it's the first thing ever for black people, and probably everybody forgot that Obama was a president for like a lot of years. Like everybody forgot. Yeah, that didn't happen. Like, and everybody, and look how successful is Black Panther. I mean, everybody wanted to see it, and everybody went. Nobody was like, we cannot see it. It's with black people. No, nobody cares. About that. Everybody genuinely want to see the movie like it should be. But they are now making something out of nothing, a problem that shouldn't be existing. Nobel Prize to Peace goes to Gary. Oh gosh, thanks, Marto. And lastly, I'm gonna read what Ivy wrote, and I'm gonna finish this. So Ivy says, I get you, Gary. It's insane to me when the movie talks about oppression, but reality is different in most cases. Yes, in most cases, like I said, you can be oppressed no matter what race you are. You can be made fun of no matter what race you are, which happened to me all of my years. That was I was growing up, and that was because I don't want to get in my personal life right now, but people can make fun of you and oppress you all they want, no matter what you are and who you are. And you're right, Ivy says, the competition of who is better is pointless, life is short. Yeah, that's freaking true. And Ivy says again, last 8 years were, I guess I slept. Yeah, last 8 years with Obama on. Everybody is so quick to forget that. Why don't you remember good things, people? Like remember the good stuff. My camera lost focus. Okay, it's fine. Just remember the good stuff. And I really liked Black Panther when I saw him in Winter Soldier. But now seeing the movie, he came across as a weak guy with character, weak king, and his general was a lot more fit to be queen and just leader and all of that. And there's a moment actually in the movie that they totally forsaken all the traditions, and they were like, screw it. When Black Panther appeared, and everybody saw that he's actually not dead. They were supposed to be okay. The trial by combat, not the trial by combat, the competition between the two about who is gonna be king should be still on. But Killmonger says, "No, kill him," and the other guy's like, "Yeah, okay, you just spit all of the traditions of Uganda that you so, you know, protected, or you seemed like you did, and you said that it was so important, the whole movie. I mean, it was presented that this is like so sacred, Wakanda as a country, as people, as tradition, and now all of a sudden some outsider, sorry, says, kill this guy. And the other guy that was supposed to be his friend also, he's like, yeah, ooh, where's my rhino? Ah, I'm gonna kill him, yeah. I mean, not that way, but he was like, not a second thought in it. uh, yeah, a bit more savage in Civil War, but you don't really get his character, his inside qualities that much. And his father didn't really look like a king at all. I mean, I know that he was old, but such people that live in such environments, so healthy, he will not look like he did. He looked like an average American that lived a very bad life in terms of food and diet and all of that. So that was kind of shocking. The contrast between how he looked like in the 90s and how he looked like now was huge. It's not supposed to be this way. Have you ever seen Will Smith in the 90s and how he looks like now? Yeah, this guy is not aging. So it was freaking huge difference, like huge. It didn't make any sense. But okay, guys, enough about Black Panther. I didn't like the movie. Worst Marvel movie ever to me. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. I super appreciate Ivy's input because I know that he's super knowledgeable guy. But of course, like I said, all of those things that we talked about is just common sense for everybody else, then except America, I guess. That's it, guys. I really wanted to like this, really wanted to love this, but I didn't. These things happen. So thank you again for watching. I'm just gonna wait for you to catch up with the stream. My first live review. Sorry about all the mistakes that I've made, but I was very, very nervous. But again, have to be honest with you guys. Most important thing um, in my channel is to always bring you the most honest opinion freaking possible. Thank you, Ivy. Thank you to everybody. And if you'd like to support me, you can check the links down below. Subscribe, like, and share. Until next time with me, Gary G Reviews.